For UTEP at guard, a 6-foot senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 10, Tim Hardaway. And the head coaches in his 17th season at LSU, Dale Brown. And in his 28th season as head coach of the UTEP Miners, Don Haskins.
LSU 20-11, UTEP 25-6. The tip in a moment.
Now, drive the excitement of Pontiac Grand Prix and get a mega value. Get $1,000 cash back direct from Pontiac, or GMAC financing as low as 4.9%. And if you're a qualified first-time buyer, another $600 cash back. That's up to $1,600 cash back, or 4.9% GMAC financing. See your local Pontiac dealer for details.
We build excitement.
Express mail from your post office offers you guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver, we deliver.
Saturday service at no extra charge.
We deliver, we deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver, we deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you.
LSU Tigers under Dale Brown in the tournament for the 6th consecutive year. They, of course, have been in the Final Four twice in the 80s, in 1981 and again in 1986. And for the UTEP Miners, likewise, their 6th straight tournament appearance. And, of course, Don Haskins led them, Texas Western, to the 1966 championship over Kentucky at Cole Fieldhouse in College Park, Maryland. Lenny Wirtz, Sid Rosenheffer, and Mark DiSteola are the officials, and we're underway.
UTEP has really got a bunch of board bangers. 4 or 5 guys that can really rebound. That's going to be one of the big problems for LSU to contain.
They are missing their key inside, though, Antonio Davis, with knee injuries. He strained some ligaments in the semifinal game of the WAC tournament, the 6'9 junior. Tried to work out yesterday and did, but he's having problems cutting, so he is not starting tonight. We don't know whether he'll play.
He was really a great, quick rebounder, too. They will miss him.
As a result, David Van Dyke gets the starting nod. Shot clock is down to 5. Hardaway from long range, short. And the rebound comes down for LSU.
LSU very successful that time with the zone. Here's Jackson.
Prince Stewart draws the task of guarding him. It's on the line. UTEP ball.
What makes Jackson so great is his dribbling ability. You're going to see a guy that really knows how to handle that ball and get defenders out of position.
Here comes Tim Hardaway, most valuable player of the Western Athletic Conference tournament. He's a senior out of Chicago. Left side to McCall. He's the young man who's getting his 5th start tonight. He and Van Dyke have been shuffling in and out of the starting lineup this year. First foul of the game called on Wayne Sims.
UTEP is not that bad an outside shooting ball club. They can hold their own with anybody, particularly the 2 guards. Hardaway and Stewart, very good with the 3s.
Prince Stewart will inbound the ball now. Just underway from McHale Center. We played 1 minute and 13 seconds, no score. Alley-oop. And Van Dyke rather comes down with it as it batted back and retains possession. They'll reload. McCall, first turnover of the game.
Looks like UTEP has the tournament jitters.
Now Chris Jackson. And again, it's Prince Stewart who will guard him. We'll check this defense. There's a steal, Stewart. 3-on-1. Alley-oop. McCall for 2.
Well, I saw it, but I didn't believe it. Stewart with the steal on one of the cleverest dribblers I've ever seen.
Prince Stewart, the sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky. Ricky Blanton answers with a 2.
And he is top gun from that corner. He can hit the outside shot, Blanton.
Blanton, the only senior in the LSU lineup, averaging 21 points a game. Jackson, of course, averaging 30. McCall again, off-balance shot. No, rebound comes down in the hands of Wayne Sims. Now Chris Jackson. That's for 2.
And he got by Stewart that time, who tried again make a steal. And that may be the worst steal that Stewart ever made.
Hardaway working on Jackson.
You know, once you make one steal, you think you can make 100. This guy isn't all he's cracked up to be. And he'll keep doing it. I'll tell you, Jackson is very, very clever.
4-2 ball game, 17:20 to go, first half. The final game, the 32nd game of the first round. That's Stewart. Rims out, and it was a 3. LSU with a 2-point lead. Ricky Blanton. Sims almost lost control. And Van Dyke with his 87th block of the year. Notre Dame defeats Vanderbilt tonight in C.M. Newton's last game at Vandy. He goes to Kentucky, of course, as the athletic director. And UCLA from the Pac-10 knocks out a Big 8 team, Iowa State. And Texas with a short 4-point lead over Georgia Tech in the second half in Dallas. Johnny Melvin has come into the lineup now for UTEP. So the lineup, first substitution of the game, has Stewart, Hardaway, and Melvin, the 3-guard rotation, with Van Dyke and Foster.
Well, Melvin's a freshman, but he's really played very well towards the tail end of the season.
That was Melvin, number 32. Entry pass, turned around, David Van Dyke.
Because LSU does not have depth, they don't really get aggressive at times defensively for fear of getting in foul trouble.
Jackson for 3. Short. The stuff no good from Singleton. Gets the rebound. And will shoot a couple.
LSU's offense is really to put kind of 4 guys down on the baseline. And that leaves Jackson all kinds of room to maneuver one-on-one against his player, so his defender. So lots of problems for Stewart to defend him. And they're going to try and take the dribble away from Jackson by double teams.
This is a fellow freshman of Jackson's, Vernell Singleton, who was recruited as either an off guard or a quick forward and wound up playing center at 6'6", Don.
Dale Brown has a knack of turning guys that are quick into centers, and he knows how to use quickness at that position, and Singleton has been very effective on the offensive glass rebound-wise.
LSU with a 2-point lead, 16:15 to go first half. Stewart for 3. Yes.
Right in the middle of that 2-3 zone, a little gap.
He's hitting 42% from three-point range on the year. Underneath, Sims. Rejected, goaltending.
One of the things that Jackson does, with his great penetrating ability, he will spread the defense out and draw at least one defender, and he can slip the ball inside.
Looks like a 2-3 LSU zone.
Had trouble with this zone against UNLV. Even though they won the ball game, UNLV got a lot of inside hoops against them.
Greg Foster gets 2 from the inside. He's the one-time UCLA player who transferred and sat out last year. Jackson. Foster rebound. UTEP. Hardaway.
That is his range. He can drift. And when he pulls up, he's so quick. Very difficult to get at his shot.
3-point edge. Ricky Blanton.
With Singleton again, coming from on top of the offense. Nobody putting a body on him.
Tim Hardaway's a senior, facing Jackson. This is Johnny Melvin. It's in and out. And the rebound, Vernell Singleton. And now a chance for LSU to regain the lead. Wayne Sims gives LSU a 1-point edge.
A very short center and power forward at 6'7". He roams around in that low post, but he can pop out and hit the 18-foot shot.
12-11, LSU leads it. This is the 3rd time the two teams have met. There's Hardaway for 3. Van Dyke tries to reach over the top. It goes off him and out of bounds. 14-17 to go, first half.
Maybe you can't stop the world in its tracks. But you can take an alternate route in the Audi 200 sedan. It rejects fixed formulas. Instead, its advanced brakes adapt and assign stopping power according to the size of the load. Welcome reassurance for ignoring the ordinary and taking the alternate route.
If you've got yourself a car and you've got yourself a house, you could be on your way to some very nice savings. Because with Allstate Homeowners Insurance and an excellent driving record, you could save up to 15% on your auto insurance. And 15% could mean big money for all the important little things.
What a day.
What a day.
The Allstate Auto Advantage. Another reason. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Excuse me. Sorry for breaking in. Just wanted to let you know I'll be moving in on Monday night. See you then.
Live In premieres Monday.
It all began yesterday morning when Minnesota knocked off Kansas State, while Siena shocked the country, winning against Stanford. West Virginia and Duke also won at Greensboro. Those four teams will play tomorrow. Triple-header action. It begins at 12 noon Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Pacific. The NCAA Championship, the road to the Final Four here on CBS. Underneath, Singleton. No. And we have a substitution in the lineup now for UTEP. Zenwa has come in.
Antonio Davis.
I beg your pardon.
Zenwa is about to come in as they're going to beef up their front line even more. So they have utilized Antonio Davis with the knee injury. Did not start the game, but a real big board banger.
This is Francis Zenwa, a sophomore from Nigeria. And the man Tommy mentioned, 34, Antonio Davis, who did not start, but is now on the floor. Jackson. And Zenwa loses control of the ball. Saves it to Blanton. Jackson short with a shot. Whistle before the shot. And the foul is on Antonio Davis. Junior out of Oakland, who again suffered strained knee ligaments in a collision against a New Mexico player in the semifinal of the WAC conference tournament.
Well, in addition to getting Antonio Davis back in, his best big guy, he's trying to pack those big guys with a little bit more speed, because the inside people of LSU are using their quickness very effectively.
Davis way up in the air for the rebound. And Hardaway got away with what might have been a travel. From the corner, Stewart, air ball. Antonio Davis, no air.
Thunder!
13-12. LSU's lineup remains the same, and it will for the most part. They're almost like Pittsburgh in the lack of a bench. Almost a five-man team. They go as deep as 7, but that's about it. Lyle Mouton will shoot a couple.
Mouton's a pretty sneaky player. And I'm going to take the shot by Stewart, which is long, and Davis weak side rebounding. And that's what he's famous for down in El Paso, those thunder dunks.
Mark McCall getting ready to re-enter the lineup, and he'll take the place of Johnny Melvin. So the UTEP lineup now is Zenwa and Davis, along with Stewart, Hardaway, and McCall. Sophomore Lyle Mouton shooting 2. It's a very good free-throw shooting team at LSU. They're averaging, as a team, 76%. And The stigma strikes again as he misses. 13-all.
Don't mention foul shots.
Nope, happens every time. 12:45 to go, first half.
LSU still in the zone. Their prime defense over most of the year has been man-to-man.
Yeah, Don Haskins was trying to convince you last night they play man against him today.
Yeah.
Antonio Davis. 15-13, UTEP. Jackson, there's the dribble, Tom. Off the glass shot, no good. He's missed 4 in a row now.
By the way, good senior leadership there. Just pulled it up when fast break wasn't evident.
Blanton comes down with a missed shot at Mark McCall as we're under the 12-minute mark. Quick hands of Tim Hardaway. 4-on-2. Jackson goes for the steal. No. Davis, clean block by Mouton. On the line, LSU ball. 32nd and final first-round game of the '89 NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS. Vern Lundquist, Tom Heinsohn at McHale Center. 7-seeded UTEP leading LSU, the 10th seed, 15-13 right now. It has been a seesaw battle thus far, and Chris Jackson, the second leading scorer in the country, has been held to only 2 points and was stripped to the ball on his first possession by Prince Stewart. There's a travel.
And Tracy is in for Jackson.
Dennis Tracy is a walk-on who not listed anywhere in the press guide at LSU. And another substitution now. Johnny Melvin comes back in for Don Haskins' bunch.
I think Dale Brown is just saying, Chris Jackson, just slow down a little bit. Let's see what we got here. We're still in this ball game. Let you look at it from the bench, see what we have to do.
Jackson goes to the bench having hit 1 of 6 shots from the field. Davis didn't look like he was ready for it. LSU yields it up once again to UTEP. Dale Brown, in his 17th year at Louisiana State, took over the job in 1972. From the corner, 3 points.
Take it out of bounds, step in, and up it goes.
Hardaway with 5, largest lead of the first half, traveling LSU.
Poised by this LSU team, though. They've come back more than once.
There's Hardaway, the junior out of Chicago. McCall hits for 2.
Boy, great skip pass right over the top. Weak side man wide open.
Ricky Blanton. Shots are not falling now for the Tigers of LSU. Melvin is pushed by Dennis Tracy. That is only the second team foul.
One of the things that LSU has been susceptible to is a team that will attack the hoop and put it out off rebounds, get the ball out quickly.
Jackson comes back in after a short rest. Tracy goes to the bench. And Hardaway and Antonio Davis are out of the lineup for UTEP. Prince Stewart, Francis Azenwa, Greg Foster, Johnny Melvin, and Mark McCall on the floor now.
Well, LSU is shooting at 29%. Chris Jackson having his hands full with Prince Stewart. I just didn't think that anybody would be able to bother Jackson off his dribble, but Stewart has.
10:15 to go, first half. 20-13, UTEP. Foster. Blanton got caught with the elbow while trying to block out.
Well, Blanton is a hard-nosed rebounder. He played center in the tournament a couple of years ago, and boy, did an outstanding job. He's only 6'7", but he's got a finesse game to go with that toughness.
He's going to wind up in the top 10 in every statistical category.
Except block shots.
Except block shots. which doesn't make him a bad person.
No.
10-minute mark, first half. The University of Texas El Paso is on an 11-0 run in the last 4 minutes.
Well, there was size against no size. Foster, the big guy at 7 feet. No match down there by any of the LSU players.
Jackson now 1 out of 7.
Now, one thing you could always count on a Haskins team is they know how to rebound.
9-point UTEP lead. Miners at 1 point were 13-1. Had that record as they entered Western Athletic Conference play. Wound up 25-6. Lost the regular season title to Colorado State, but then whipped the Rams in the championship last week. 2 more for Foster and a 13-0 run.
Foster's got a great touch. Soft shooter from almost any distance.
Ricky Blanton. Lyle Mouton, he can't end the drought. Here's the fast break. Stewart. Melvin. Brown wants a timeout.
Maybe you can't change the way of the world, but you can take an alternate route in the Audi 90 Quattro. A car that sticks to the road, not to the rules. Because it assigns power to whatever wheels need it, whenever they need it. Ample reward for resisting the commonplace and taking the alternate route.
The IBM Personal System 2. Think of it as the engine of a train that links up with your business and moves it forward without leaving behind what you've already got on board, software and hardware. So your business stays on schedule for tomorrow and makes news as it races ahead. The Personal System 2 family of computers. All aboard. When you're thinking ahead, you're thinking IBM.
You just got a frequent flyer award, huh?
That's right.
You don't fly frequently.
No, infrequently.
How can you be a frequent flyer if you don't fly frequently?
How can I hit the ball if you're talking to me?
How can you hit the ball if you're going to be talking over there?
On Northwest, you don't have to fly a lot to earn a free trip fast.
There's a reason why, wherever he goes, Spud McKenzie has so much fun. He's always in control. Spud knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Be a good sport. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
One of the reasons that you can fast break LSU is because they play their offense with 4 guys down on the baseline, because they want those rebounders close to the hoop. But if they don't end up with the rebound, this is what can happen. Off they go with one lone defender back there, and Jackson tried to make the steal. No way.
A 15-0 Texas El Paso run over LSU has given them a 13-point lead. That's in the last 5 minutes. Sims. Over the top. University of Texas leading Georgia Tech 70-63. What a job Tom Penders has done at the university in his first year.
He's brought excitement and up-tempo basketball to Texas.
And crowds.
Yes.
Hardaway. Another rebound to Zenma. A block by Singleton. Hell ball, possession arrow, LSU.
Singleton does an outstanding job for a guy 6'7". And I don't even think he's 6'7".
LSU has missed its last 10 shots.
But they are a very explosive team.
Dennis Tracy back in the lineup, the sophomore out of New Orleans. Jackson from the corner, misses again. He's 1 of 8. And here comes the hurry-up transition game. Stewart, nice fake. Oh, dandy look.
One defender back once again.
The run is 17. And that's 13 shots missed in succession by LSU. finally.
He's been the most active on the glass. They have not been able to put a body on him.
Foster, Sims blocks it. Zenwell mistimes the first jump and gets the second.
I'll tell you, when you're a weak side rebounder on UTEP, if you're not right outside the basket, they'll push you underneath and they'll have the whole weak side to rebound.
6:56 to go, first half. Winner of this game gets Indiana on Sunday afternoon. Nice pass underneath, Singleton to Sims. And in the other half of the bracket here in Tucson on Sunday, it'll be Seton Hall against an Evansville team that you all will enjoy watching.
They're in a man-to-man defense right now.
Brent Stewart.
And good cuts.
32-17. Jackson ends his own personal battle with the iron.
Well, he can get it going very quickly. Missing 5 out of 6 shots is nothing to Jackson. Doesn't disturb his confidence, nor does it disturb Dale Brown.
Jackson is 2 of 9 now, 4 points, 32-19, under 6 minutes to go first half. There's Hardaway. Blanton for LSU. This is a Tiger team that lost its last 3 games of the year and 5 of its last 7. Jackson mistimes. Here comes the UTEP team in transition. Melvin.
And simply, if you take a long shot and there's a miss and a long rebound, and LSU is jamming the boards with 4 people, there's only 1 defender left.
Dennis Tracy, Sims. Blanton, nice ball.
He'll get those feet moving. He is a very, very competitive guy, Blanton. They have been in these type of situations before, and Blanton and Jackson have lifted them out.
It's a 13-point edge right now, nearing the 5-minute mark of the first half. Hardaway guarded by Dennis Tracy, the walk-on.
A lot of people think that Hardaway is the best guard in the West.
He's a very quiet young man, and he was asked about this contrast with Jackson. He said he doesn't worry about it. What a rejection by Foster. And here come the Miners. Hardaway, left-handed scoop shot.
UTEP has got it going. Good defense and swats, rebounding, and hard pushes up the court.
Just to reaffirm the fact that LSU playing without much bench strength. And another rebound. This is Francis Azenwa. And again, Hardaway pushes it up. Nice dish to Stewart. LSU is not getting back on defense at all.
Oh, and their offense is what the problem is. It's leaving them short 1 man to protect against a very fast team that knows how to run.
LSU is 9 of 32, counting that shot. And here come the Miners again. Sims with the foul.
That's an awfully long run for Sims. He gave it his best effort. He's the beefiest guy on there, on the court for them in that front line. And it's a hard run up the court defensively for Sims.
Here is seldom used Richard Krajewski checking in for Dale Brown's LSU Tigers now.
Well, Dale is trying to find the right combination.
He's a sophomore out of Grafton, North Dakota. So it's Krajewski, Blanton, Mouton, Jackson.
He got some starts in the early part of the season when they were searching for maybe one of the big guys who were really going to help them, but ended up with a rebounding problem.
You know, for all of Tim Hardaway's skills, watch the unusual rotation he puts on the ball.
There is no spin on his shot. Now, he releases it the same way all the time. Now, this is very interesting because most people think that you've got to spin the ball. That's the real proper way to do it. But if a ball player develops to be a good shooter and he's got a mechanical quirk, don't worry about it. Don't disturb that way he shoots.
Timeout.
Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy.
The BMW 325i convertible. Along with the sun, moon, and stars, you get a car worth driving.
Comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
Bob, as your accountant, I have a confession to make.
Yeah? What's that?
I'm jealous of your financial condition. Just look at the dividend performance of your Northwestern Mutual life insurance policy.
I picked a winner, didn't I?
You sure did. Look at this. Northwestern Mutual has been a consistent leader in dividend performance going back 50 years.
They've done it more times than any other life insurance company.
Now you can see why I'm jealous.
I imagine Northwestern Mutual's competition feels that way, too.
Oh, it's thrilling.
It stimulates the senses. This is what it's all about.
And I think it's a lot of fun.
March Madness on CBS Sports.
James Brown back in New York, and we'll be taking you back out to Tucson, Arizona in just a few moments, but we've got a good finish taking place down in Dallas, Texas, where Georgia Tech is about to become the first ACC team to be bumped out of the tournament. Let's join NCAA Productions announcers Ron Franklin and Billy King.
Ron Franklin along with Billy King at Reunion Arena. Another upset in the making. And with 41 seconds on the clock, Britton with the foul for Georgia Tech. It's going to be his third. And the Texas Longhorns leading 74-66. Tom Penders, he worked the Magic last year with Rhode Island. It took them to the round of 16. His first year at Texas got his Longhorns to 24 victories into the NCAA tournament and is about to move them on to the second round.
Yeah, they call Reggie Jackson Mr. October. I think we can call Mr. Penders Mr. March because he does it every year. Somehow pulls off the Magic.
Peggs gets his 17th point on the night. Travis Mays has led the way for the Longhorns with 23 as we look at Bobby Crimmins.
You know, Coach Crimmins told us yesterday that his team didn't play well in his last two losses in the first round of the ACC tournament against North Carolina and then a double overtime loss in the last game against Clemson. And he wasn't sure what Georgia Tech team was going to show up today.
Carl Brown, and he swishes it immediately, calls a timeout. That's his first 2 points of the night. And we're going to hold it right here with Texas on top, 75-68, and 32 ticks left on the clock.
Now, if you're Georgia Tech, what you've got to do right now is you've got to try to deny the ball inbounds right away. If the ball gets inbounds, you've got to foul. You can't afford to lose any time off the clock. So if the ball comes inbounds, you can only afford to lose maybe 2 seconds and then hope they miss free throws, come back down. But I think the sad thing for Georgia Tech is they don't have any more timeouts.
Well, you're exactly right. As you look at that statistic there, the Longhorns with 2, and of course they don't want to use any timeouts for anything unless it is a critical situation and strategy that needs to be talked over. But for Bobby Crimmins and the Yellow Jackets, there are none left.
And so, I mean, it's going to take a miracle, but if you were if you're tuned into the game when Georgia Tech was playing North Carolina in Atlanta, Dennis Scott pulled off the miracle, hit a three-pointer to beat North Carolina with only about, I think it was 8 seconds on the clock. So miracles can't happen, and in March, anything can happen.
Boy, that's for sure. You know, one thing else we need to say on this telecast tonight is a hats off to those kids from Princeton. That may be as gutsy an effort as I've ever seen, Bill. I mean, you talk about prohibitive underdogs.
I mean, inspiration. I mean, they give everyone, I think everybody in the college basketball ranks inspiration. I told some people the other day, the Bucknell players, they were saying with Syracuse that, you know, we don't have a chance to say, if you didn't have a chance, you wouldn't play the ball game.
That's right. Our situation, 32 ticks left in the clock. It is 75-68. Texas on top. Full court pressure by the Yellow Jackets. Heggs trying to avoid a 5-second count and barely does. Blanks gets it across to Heggs. Inside of 30 now. You can see the clock at the lower right-hand side of your screen.
And they're just going to keep the ball moving, and you hear the Texas crowd get a little excited. Georgia Tech can't catch him.
Blanks going to take it all the way to the hoop and is fouled, going to the basket with 12 seconds left in the ball game. Finally, the look of satisfaction on that bench right there is Jamie Campaglio.
Take a look here. He's having fun now here now. He's going to make, see Tom Hammond's trying to stop it, but they couldn't catch Texas, Ron. They had a hard time catching it.
Blanks with his 13th point. And look at the Georgia Tech bench, the contrast. By the way, on Blanks, misses the second one. That is his first point of the second half.
It is, and he did a good job of leading the team. Double dribble call, basket will not count, but Blanks did a great job of leading the team, playing great defense.
Yes.
But one thing I want to say about Coach Crimmins, his teams never give up. Right now, they're playing tough D, and that's the trademark of Coach Crimmins' team. They're going to play until that buzzer sounds, and you got to give them credit. They came in here, Brian Oliver with a sprained ankle. Dennis Scott didn't have the game he might have wanted to, but they earned the right to be here, and they had a great showing, I thought.
Dennis Scott has just fouled out of this ball game. 15 points for him. Well, now the Texas starters coming out of the lineup and a chance to pat those kids on the back. Substitutes checking in. Tony Jones, number 4. They say he's 5'7". Most people disagree with that. He's a speedster, wide receiver on the football team. He comes in. Courtney Jeans checks in. Wynn Shepard. Also Thomas Gibson. And Blanks will be substituted. He's the only starter left on the floor, but it's because he is at the line.
And for Georgia Tech, Brian DeMolick has checked in for Dennis Scott, who fouled out with 16 points.
Brian Oliver scores, but the horn sounds. And the Texas Longhorns have upset the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets by a final score of 76-70. We'll be right back.
All right, so Tom Penders takes his Magic down to Texas, where they win their first NCAA tournament game since 1974. All right, back in Tucson, Arizona, let's join our announcers, Vern Lundquist and Tommy Heinsohn.
Okay, JB, final 3 seconds of the first half. What was a 40-21 lead for UTEP when we left you is a 42-29 lead at halftime, as Chris Jackson did hit a couple of buckets and Ricky Blanton hit a three-pointer. We'll continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Sports Cup, the NCAA Basketball Championship, is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet, Levi's 505 and 506 jeans, and by Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance, the Quiet Company.
Imagine a game with over 70 million prizes. Enough for one.
Think protection. Think insurance. Think Rieger Harris.
Halftime in Tucson, the Miners at one time leading by 19. It's been trimmed to 13, and it's 4 for 13 from the floor for Chris Jackson of LSU. All right, updating a developing story concerning the Kentucky basketball program. WLEX-TV in Lexington reported today that Wildcat head coach Eddie Sutton offered to dismiss his assistant coaches, team managers, and others associated with the program if it would guarantee his return as head coach. However, Sutton has denied these allegations. Tonight, I spoke with acting athletic director Joe Birch. who would only say that he expects an announcement about the coaching situation to take place this week. Today was the final game in the 38-year collegiate coaching career for Ralph Miller, the Oregon State coach. He went into overtime against Evansville in this action earlier this afternoon, and Ralph Miller's team took it into overtime. It was the 25th overtime of the tournament in the 1980s, with Miller's team up by 2 and 3-point shot by Evansville. Scott Schreffler putting the Aces up by 1. Gary Payton, he's a good player out there in the West Coast. In the lane, puts Oregon State back in front by 1. But here's the shot that won it for Evansville. Reed Crafton from way out there, putting it up by 2 for Evansville. Payton came back for one last try, trying to pull it out for Oregon State. The misfire, and Ralph Miller coached his final game as Evansville was a winner in this ball game, 94-90 in overtime, and now advances on in the West to meet Syracuse. Seton Hall.
Like everything, good or bad, sooner or later, they come to an end. Well, my coaching career, for all practical purposes, is now history.
A great career again for Ralph Miller, but let me clarify that. Evansville will advance on and take on Seton Hall Sunday in the West. And James, that's the West situation with Indiana, again, waiting the winner of UTEP and LSU.
I know I'm going to be accused of using 20/20 vision hindsight now, but I knew that Princeton team was awfully tough, a team that executes extremely well on the offensive end and has a chance. And the effect of frustrating people, and Georgetown was almost frustrated out of the tournament today, holding on for a 1-point victory. Now, the Hoyas more than had their hands full. Alonzo Mourning's 21 points, they would absolutely be needed. Now, Mourning was the only player that Pete Carril didn't have an answer for. Take a look at Georgetown on the inside. Alonzo Mourning, a little frustrated, throws an elbow there at the big fella Mueller. Now in the closing seconds, Alonzo Mourning comes up with the biggest block of the game, 1 of 7, and Bobby Knight talks about the potential upset.
If you've watched Pete Carril's teams play over the years, he's going to find a way to get the absolute maximum out of his team, and I think he obviously did that tonight. And he's got a team that handles the ball well, works at handling the ball, and they would cause problems because Georgetown is overplaying a lot, and I can just kind of close my eyes and watch Princeton's kids getting some back cut layups and getting some chances to go to the basket. And sometimes when you get into that kind of a situation with Georgetown, it's just hard to get out of it.
And Princeton executes the backdoor offense as well as anyone in the country. That was not a halftime score. That was a final. Georgetown by 1 over Princeton. Now, Georgetown will move on to meet Notre Dame. That's because Digger Phelps' team came away a victor over Vanderbilt and C.M. Newton, 81-65. Now, C.M. Newton was hoping to prolong his coaching career just a little longer. But Damian Sweet of Notre Dame, nice-looking alley-oop for the slam and an 11-point lead. Even without the coronation, Digger Phelps had the luck of the Irish and a talented freshman named LaFonso Ellis with the reverse layup and the victory. They now move on to second-round action and will meet in the East. Georgetown, what a powerful matchup there, Georgetown and Notre Dame. And a nice backcourt combination matchup will be between NC State with, of course, Rodney Monroe and Chris Corsiana against Iowa with Roy Marble and B.J. Armstrong. And we'll have more Road to the Final Four halftime report for you right after these commercial messages.
I know some people who still think the only way to have fun is to use drugs and alcohol. Even after all the news reports about the damage caused by drugs and alcohol, some people still don't believe that that damage can happen to them. Believe it. And remember, you can have a good time without using drugs and alcohol. If you have friends who try to tell you otherwise, they're not really your friends.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
My first year was a rough year, but after that, it became very important to me to graduate in a 4-year period. The competitiveness on the court, as well as in the classroom, helped me tremendously because the burning desire I had inside was not just to do well, but to excel, and not just to come off the bench, but to start. Not just to go to class and get credits to be eligible, but to graduate. And after that first year experience, when I saw that I could exist in that environment, I became a believer in myself. a believer that I could start and a believer that I could graduate on time. And from then on, I had one single purpose in mind, and that was to get my degree as well as to become the best that I could be.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Well, from Tucson to Dallas, nobody ever said it was easy to travel on the road to the Final Four. Florida's cheerleaders had to do it without their pep band, so they asked Georgia Tech's band if they wouldn't mind sitting in. Show us your music, they said, in the spirit of cooperation, and by game time, they were ready to don their new Florida T-shirts and come to the Gators' aid. Unfortunately for Florida fans, their team itself played woefully out of sync today. And that score for the Gators, 68-46 on the short end of the score against the regular season champions out of the Western Athletic Conference. Colorado State, the winner, and impressive showing there by Boyd Grant's team. And I don't think there's any question about it. This is a team to look out for now after Colorado State's performance today against Florida. Now, the Rams will advance on and play Syracuse on Sunday. Now, in Dallas, we saw it moments ago, Texas a winner over Georgia Tech. Texas led by the Southwest Conference Player of the Year, Travis Mays, 23 points. And now the Longhorns are set to play Missouri on Sunday, which is interesting because Tommy Penders, the Texas coach, we all know it now. He was at Rhode Island last year, and last year he was the guy that knocked Missouri out of the tournament. Rhode Island upsetting Missouri. He meets him for the second straight year in the tournament. Can he do it again? And again, it's Colorado State against Syracuse, and this Colorado State team of Boyd Grant, I'm very impressed by that bunch, James, today after that performance against Florida.
Indeed, and no need for Tom Penders to worry about a tanning machine down in Dallas. He's got the sun all year long, no doubt about that. Hey, great game played in the Southeast region down in Atlanta. Steve Fisher, of course, in a tough position as the interim coach, but he led the Michigan Wolverines to a 5-point victory over Xavier. Bill Frieder, the former coach, had to buy a ticket for this one, and what he saw was Xavier's squad battle the Wolverines tooth and nail and take a 4-point second-half lead on that fast break there. But hey, Terry Mills has been a hot and cold player. He was Mr. Aggressive today as he slammed Michigan back on top with 2 of his 18. And Mills got involved with helping others to score as well. Specifically, teammate Glenn Rice with 2 of his 23 points as interim coach Steve Fisher comes away with his first victory by 5 over Xavier. So the Southeast bracket looks like this. South Alabama, the surprise winner over Alabama, will now meet Michigan, and Iowa State with a strong backcourt will take on North Carolina.
James, I don't mean to harp on it, but the SEC just mailing it in this tournament. We've mentioned that 4 teams have played before tonight. All 4 have lost, including Florida, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee losing in blowout games, and Alabama blowing a big lead and eventually losing to South Alabama. Now LSU's the last team out of that conference, and here they are trailing by 13 at the intermission. Let's remind you that tomorrow triple header action on CBS gets started at noon Eastern. Most of the country will see West Virginia against Duke. Again, that's at 12 noon Eastern. Then at 2, some of you will see Ball State against Illinois. Others will watch Louisiana Tech against Oklahoma. Will the Sooners bounce back and play like they were during the middle of the season? And we'll also have some folks seeing Siena against Minnesota in East Region action. And then the third game of the tripleheader, DePaul against UNLV. Others will watch Arkansas and Louisville. I really like that matchup tomorrow. And Middle Tennessee State against Virginia. Now, for you folks on the West Coast and in Arizona and South Carolina, you'll also be getting the game between Clemson and Arizona. That's at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock for you folks in South Carolina as the Clemson Tigers take on the top seed out in the West, the Arizona Wildcats. JB, what about the second half here for LSU?
I tell you right now, I think in the first half, LSU was standing around a little too much, watching Chris Jackson, waiting for him to do the exciting thing, and in the process, UTEP just blew right by him. They were excited about the matchup against Chris Jackson.
All right, but again, that lead at one time was 19. It's been trimmed to 13. We'll get you back to Vern Lundquist and Tommy Heinsohn as we continue on the road to the Final Four after this message and a word from your local station.
There's something new out there. For all of you, the truck for 89. The all-new Toyota 4x2 Extra Cab SR5. Now available V6 power. Real backseat space. And a new look that can only say one thing. Toyota quality.
Got it all now.
Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
How do you figure your financial future? How do you get an advantage? Look for an edge. Look for a company that can sharpen your opportunities in mutual funds, pensions, IRAs, employee benefit plans, insurance, and much more. Look for the Principal Edge from the Principal Financial Group, one of America's largest, helping people with the fine points of their financial future. The Principal. Look for the edge.
At UPS, we're changing the face of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. And let's face it, a drachma saved is a drachma earned. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
When I get a hold of you, I want to tear the cover off of you.
Campbell's Chunky Soup makes short work of even the meanest appetites.
Well, you got a hold of something solid today.
Campbell's Chunky. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
This is CBS.
With all that's being written and said about savings and loans, people are asking questions about safety, about their money. Well, I can tell you that in all the years I've been associated with Great Financial Federal, we've never been stronger and more secure than we are today. We're Kentucky's largest mutual savings and loan. We had a banner year in 1988, and by all indications, 89 should be even better. We're Great Financial Federal, your key to financial security.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Sam Miles.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet, Levi's 505 and 506 jeans, and by Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance, the Quiet Company.
42-29, the Miners lead LSU by 13 at a half. Vern Lundquist and Tommy Heinsohn. Tom, it strikes me that Prince Stewart is doing a whale of a job on Chris Jackson.
There's no question about it. One of the plans that Don Haskins had was to try and get Jackson to pick up his dribble, to send a second guy at him to do that. And Stewart has handled Jackson one-on-one and admirably. I would say that first play of the first time that Jackson had the ball and Stewart took it away from him, had Jackson thinking.
Field goal percentage 32% for LSU. Jackson is 4 of 13, and Ricky Blanton only 3 of 10. UTEP hitting 48%. Inside scoring, overwhelming advantage for the Miners, 28-8 in that category. And in the backcourt, Jackson 4 of 13. Tim Hardaway, the junior out of Chicago, 4 of 12, but he does have 11 points. Hardaway will inbound as we are underway with the second half of the final first-round game of the 1988 NCAA Championship.
They're into the man-to-man right now, which is going to give a more aggressive posture to their defense, and sometimes that translates into more aggressive offense.
Hardaway too strong with a shot. Blanton with a rebound. Lyle Mouton, nice dish to Singleton, and a foul on Van Dyke. Mid-East region of the NCAA. On Thursday, here's what happened in Indianapolis. Illinois, Ball State, the winner over Pittsburgh, Arkansas, and Louisville advanced. Those four teams, meet tomorrow as we continue our coverage on the road to the Final Four. Triple header tomorrow, beginning at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, here on CBS. Singleton at the line.
One of the things that LSU has got to do is get their fast break going. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to really get up and start pressing a little bit. Very aggressive defense. Perhaps come up with a few steals and maybe a few turnovers by UTEP. UTEP has been playing against, in essence, a very, very passive zone defense of LSU, and they've taken full advantage of it.
LSU has outscored UTEP by an 11-2 count now in the last 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And they've cut the margin from 19 down to 11. Here's Antonio Davis, bothered by strained knee ligaments. And David Van Dyke with an air ball. Sims with a rebound. Chris Jackson. Lowest point total of the season for him was 13 in the season opener against Marist. He was also held to 13 by Chaminade early in the season. Nice dish by Stewart. And then the jam is missed by Davis. Jackson at the other end. No-look pass. Singleton. Blocked by Van Dyke. Foul on Singleton.
Jackson made a nice defensive play up the other end off that miss, and they come up the court. He just kind of glides as he's coming up the court. But they could not convert. And Jackson is not really what you call a hard push man for a fast break team. He kind of glides up the court.
Brent Stewart. There's Foster. It'll be UTEP's ball.
You know, when you play man-to-man defense, one of the advantages you might have is being better able to block out on the offensive glass. And that's where LSU was having their troubles in that zone defense in that first half.
Jackson on Stewart. Hardaway with the ball. Underneath, Greg Foster. Blocked. Blanton comes down with it. And LSU can cut the lead to single digits. Chris Jackson, nice move over Stewart. And he hits one.
Boy, there was the snake and the piper. A man with the really teased him with the ball that time.
It's now a 14-2 LSU run. After UTEP has put together a 17-0 run in the first half. Stewart. Rebound Mouton, LSU. 42-33. Jackson was 2 of his first 11. And now he's got it on target.
Yep, and a little bump by Stewart, but Jackson has great leaping ability. But he plays a little bit bigger than 6'2".
After falling behind by 19 in the 3:15 mark in the first half, LSU under Dale Brown has fought back. They trail by 7.
Now the final chapter, students, in Bosworth's book of etiquette, personal hygiene. I suggest the maximum protection of Right Guard Sports Stick from Gillette. Antiperspirant and deodorant. Anything less would be uncivilized.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system, now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
It's the right gear for winter fun. Silver blades, funky saves, and a downhill run. It's the cool way of getting around. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on into Coors Light. It's the right beer now. The good life, yeah. The good life, yeah. So come on into Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
Hey, what's a Geo?
Geo is a new line of import-style small cars that'll take you anywhere, no matter how far you want to go, or how far you have to go to get there, or how many of you there are.
Gosh, Geo's swell. Where can I get one?
You won't find this Geo at a gas pump, and you won't find Geo boring, and you won't find Geo out of style. Geo's only sold and serviced at select Chevrolet dealers. Give us a call.
Geo.
U.S. champion Jill Trenery and Japan's Midori Ito lead a new generation of stars on ice. The World Figure Skating Championships tomorrow night.
Tigers of LSU on a 14-2 run, spanning the end of the first half and the opening moments of this one. Johnny Melvin, number 32, is checked in for UTEP. He joins Tim Hardaway, who has the ball. Foster, Antonio Davis, and Brent Stewart in the lineup for the Miners. Underneath, Antonio Davis. Rims out. Mouton with the rebound.
Don Haskins during that timeout said, hey guys, let's get the ball inside and try and power it by their inside smaller people.
Mouton decides to pass. Nice play by Johnny Melvin. Here's Hardaway for 2. And that's the first basket for UTEP in this half. They're now 1 out of 7 from the field.
UTEP is an exceptional weak side defensive team.
Technical foul, Dale Brown. 2 technical fouls, Dale Brown. twice. And in quick order.
That's not the effective positive thinking going on right now. He wanted a foul. That Mouton got knocked down trying to trail up on that play.
And there comes the second tee right there.
Well, he said if the other guy didn't see it, maybe you saw it.
Tim Hardaway goes to the line.
I'll say one thing. That might just be what the LSU team needs. A little emotion. They're playing very, very subdued. They have not really been active at all. And maybe it's a little gimmick going on right here by Dale Brown to steam up his players and pump a little emotion into them.
I wonder if he'll like 4 straight points and no possession of the ball. Here comes Hardaway again. This is the second technical. Did you ever get 2 called on you that quickly?
Yes. Quicker than Dale.
Did you get the third?
I actually got a technical called on me for staring. That'll never happen to Dale Brown.
4 in a row on the double T on Dale Brown.
Well, they were down anyway. What this ball club needs, as far as he's concerned, is a little emotion. He's trying to pump it into his ball club right now. Get down, get their feet moving.
Well, we'll see if that works, because LSU was on a 14-2 run. And they had shaved a 19-point lead back to 7. Now the lead is at 13, 48-35. Hardaway. Rebound, Jackson.
Chris Jackson kind of glides up the court and really doesn't put the heat on the defense. He waits for those wingmen to get out there, but it also, with the speed of UTEP, allows them to get back and stop the fast break.
Underneath, Foster. Air ball. Mouton also had an air ball trying to retrieve it, but then picks it up. Here's Jackson. Jackson has hit his last 4 shots. Pick supplied by Blanton. And they switch. Now right side. Boy, Stewart's doing a terrific job.
Trying to keep the ball away from Jackson.
Mouton hits a 3-pointer.
That is one of the players Don Haskins was worried about. He didn't want Mouton to get a hot hand.
15:50 to go in the ball game. 10-point lead. Mouton gets it. He's got Jackson left side. Foul before the basket. No bucket. And Brown's irate again and has to be restrained.
Here's a good steal, and the next thing you know, hard push up the court. And well before he picked up the ball, a foul was committed, so good call by the official.
Jackson will inbound. 48-38. Winner goes on to play Indiana here in Tucson on Sunday. Indiana won with ease. Seton Hall struggled here today, like LSU is right now, but they did win. There's Blanton. He's now 3 out of 11. And a foul on Ricky Blanton.
Antonio Davis, for the limited period of time he's played in this ball game, has made his presence felt. He spreads wide when he goes up for those rebounds, and really has kind of intimidated Sims and Blanton.
Johnny Melvin checks back in for Don Haskins Miners.
Don Haskins' offense has not been working on the inside. They are not really a good inside shooting team. But Hardaway has not been able to penetrate, nor has Stewart in his half-court setup.
David Van Dyke. And Hardaway. Nice pick and roll underneath. Oh, boy, did that look good.
put it in a perfect spot. A little pick and roll. He heads to the hoop, and Hardaway looking, and he sees Sims behind Antonio Davis, but perfect place for the pass.
Blanton has to go over and chat with Dale Brown. And Davis is at the free throw line. Misfires. It's a 50-38 ball game. What was once a 19-point lead was cut to as few as 7. Here's Jackson. Off the mark, first miss of this half. Stolen back by Burnell Singleton. And Chris Jackson dishes right. Singleton, nice move.
Jackson ends up with the ball. Little move, gives it to Singleton, and he can challenge anybody. I don't care if he's only 6'6", 6'7". He's going up there with all the big guys.
At the conclusion of tonight's NCAA tournament game, we'll select the Chevrolet players of the game. In conjunction with that award, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. That's coming up later on. Right now, Burnell Singleton, the freshman out of Mississippi, at the line, number 24.
You know, he had only one scholarship offered to him. Really? Yep. And look, he ends up in his freshman year starting for LSU.
He was not quite as highly recruited as Chris Jackson was.
No.
They're both from Mississippi. Chris, of course, from Gulfport. Here's Prince Stewart, who's making a name for himself with his defensive effort against Jackson tonight. Antonio Davis gets a couple.
Well, he just spun around and away from the defense, freed up his shooting hand, and went over the top of everybody.
52-41. Great block by Stewart from behind. And Dale Brown's working on the officials on the sideline again.
Hit the side of the backboard off of Stewart. So it'll stay LSU ball.
Luton, long rebound, Davis.
I mean, that's a man spreading out there. A man.
14 minutes to go in the ball game. Winner goes up against Indiana in round 2. As Bobby Knight's Hoosiers won easily tonight. Hardaway, Van Dyke, LSU ball.
Some of the younger players at UTEP are doing a good job on the offensive boards, but have not been able to put them back.
Chris Jackson. There's the double team on the sideline, the alley-oop underneath, of the scoop shot, rather. Blanton gets it back, and that's rejected by Izenwa. And now Davis is fouled by Singleton.
And Davis did not want the foul to be called because Stewart was up the other end of the court all alone. Here's the rejection. Beautiful block shot, and now back at him again as they have to shoot off balance. But look at Davis just over the top. There, UTEP is really using their size to advantage on the defensive glass.
13:20 to go. Final first round game of the '89 championship. Prince Stewart. Oh, spin move. Uh-oh.
Little between the legs. Jackson did it to him. He did it to Jackson.
Jackson, three-pointer. And he's got 15 points on the night. Hardaway over Luton. Tip is good. Johnny Melvin.
Very active, quick forward.
LSU trailed by 13 at the half. Jackson spins. Hardaway almost gets it. They cut. Oh, look at the dribble. And then he loses control. Nice pass, Stewart. Foster doesn't want the shot. Oh! Why not? He not only felt the seams, he looked at them.
So it has no spin, huh?
Lead is back to 15. Singleton. Luton, after a struggle, has it rejected by Azenma in the basket.
LSU has an awful lot of hands to try and get that shot over there. There's not a lot of blue sky up there to get their shots off.
13-point UTEP lead. Ricky Platt traveled. Dale Brown will go to his bench. Dennis Tracy, who wrote a letter to Dale Brown back in October begging for a chance to walk on the team and try out. Brown gave him the chance. He's become a folk hero in Baton Rouge. After spending 1 year in junior college after his graduation from high school.
You know what that letter said? It said, I want to contribute every day with effort and intensity. You think that didn't appeal to Dale Brown?
Well, Brown listened after he read the letter and gave the young man a tryout. 11:20 to go in the game.
Said my strong desire will make it a difference for the ball club this year.
Kind of makes you think the kid is going to be a success after he graduates, too, doesn't it?
Well, the other guy, Russell Grant, sent him a tape of him diving on the floor, of himself diving on the floor. That's how he made the team.
Turnover against UTEP. Second call, and it's 59-46. Jackson from way out. Johnny Melvin with a rebound. Prince Stewart. Jackson waves at him. Stewart gets the basket.
Showed him the right hand and went to the left. Under control all the way.
What a night this is for the sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky, Prince Stewart. That's him guarding Chris Jackson. Jackson does have 15, but he hit 2 of his first 11 shots. Hardaway with a steal. The lead is 15. Could grow after the alley-oop. I think back to that double technical. If that was Dale's intention, it didn't work.
Well, the harder that LSU is playing right now, UTEP is matching them with intensity. Hardaway and Stewart really playing some great defense.
There's another steal. Here's Tracy. Jackson on the right. Oh, nice touch. Over to 6'9" Antonio Davis.
And great move by Davis not to really challenge Jackson that time. Possibly pick up a foul.
Jackson now 9 of 21 from the field. The lead is 13. Three-pointer, Hardaway. He's got 23, above his season average of 21. The answer from Jackson.
Oh, I'll tell you, that was that little glide and the quick pull-up, and Stewart was still trying to cut him off to the baseline by the time he went up for the shot.
You had an interesting comparison of what... Well, timeout has been called. So we'll continue with the comparison of Tom Heinsohn in a moment. Right now, timeout.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air Letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air Letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
If you've got yourself a car and you've got yourself a house, you could be on your way to some very nice savings. Because with Allstate homeowners insurance and an excellent driving record, you could save up to 15% on your auto insurance. And 15% could mean big money for all the important little things.
What a day.
What a day. The Allstate Auto Advantage. Another reason. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
The
Honda lawnmower. It was first with a convenient blade brake clutch, with an automotive-type shaft drive, with an easy-starting overhead valve engine. It's the first mower good enough to be a Honda.
The feel-good movie of the year, says Roy Leonard, WGN Radio TV. See America's #1 movie, Lean on Me, rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
In the East region in Providence, Princeton fought hard but lost to Georgetown, the top seed in the East, by 1. Notre Dame over Vanderbilt. So Notre Dame and Georgetown meet on Sunday. The game starts at 12:20 Eastern Time. North Carolina State, Jimmy Valvano's team, will meet Dr. Don Davis's Iowa team. That's approximately at 2:40 on Sunday.
I'll tell you, that Princeton-Georgetown game, that was really a shock. I'm sure everybody in the country felt that no way would Princeton be able to do any kind of damage to Georgetown, but Pete Carroll spread them out and used that infamous backdoor play, and it took Mourning out of a shot blocking situation as his man was handling the ball an awful lot.
Right here, it's UTEP leading LSU 66-52. Antonio Davis off the glass, too strong. Off of Wayne Sims. It'll be UTEP's ball to inbound.
And UTEP has the advantage of having just simply more big guys, and they're throwing them at Sims and Singleton and Blanton, and they're wearing them down on the glass.
There's a Zenla back to Johnny Melvin. UTEP out of the WAC, of course. Colorado State won its game today. First time in the tournament since 1969. They knocked off Georgia Tech, so the WAC faring very well right now. Held ball, possession arrow. LSU. LSU out of the Southeast Conference, and boy, what a problem they've had this year. 5 teams in, 4 have already lost. And there is Dale Brown. Would you believe that in 1952, when he was a senior at St. Leo's in Minot, North Dakota, he played Grand Forks High School in the state semis, and they got beat. And the leader of the Grand Forks team was one Lute Olson, now the head coach at Arizona.
Dale Brown was a 3-sport athlete, won 12 letters in college: football, basketball, and track.
Melvin. The lead is 16.
Don Haskins just took his tie off before the ball game like he normally does, that clip-on tie. And he's just sitting back watching this thing with a lot of enjoyment.
Jackson with the adjusted shot gets 2 more. Chris has 23 now. And it's 68-54 under the 8-minute mark. Prince Stewart. Here comes LSU. Mouton. Jackson stays to the right. The ball is taken away, but that will be LSU's as Brown reluctantly gives it back to the official. Off the bench, UTEP 22 points and 15 rebounds. And LSU zip and zip.
Well, they only put one big guy into the game, LSU, and that was for just a brief appearance. Well, it's kind of unfair to say their bench isn't scoring. Their team isn't scoring, which is their first 5.
Nice move by Stewart. UTEP saves it. Tim Hardaway. 7:20 to go. Johnny Melvin, dandy move.
A little pick. His defender got bumped a little bit, and boy, did he turn the corner to the hoop.
Timeout. LSU, the lead is 16.
Even when all of Company B heads for the phone, it's no problem for Gail Godfrey.
Delta Airlines, Gail Godfrey.
Y'all fly to Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, that is confirmed.
I got some friends who want to talk to you now. Just hold on a second. Thank you. Cincinnati, Ohio. New York City. Monroe, Louisiana.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
San Jose, California. Portland, Oregon. Butte, Montana.
You're all set. Thank you for calling, Delta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gail. Did you get many calls this afternoon? 1.
Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
No matter what, it's a Geo.
New Geo.
Geo Prism's got class with 16-valve kick. Geo. In a roomy 4-door. or 5-door. Geo's protected from bumper to bumper.
Oh.
And has a very smart price. Give us a call. Sold and serviced by select Chevrolet dealers.
No matter what.
All right, guys, lights out.
Okay, Coach. There's nothing more exciting than a fast break. To Pizza Hut for a great supreme deal where exceptional leaping ability and blazing speed both come into play in pursuit of Pizza Hut's Supreme Pizza loaded with 6 mouth-watering toppings. Now get 1 medium for $8.99 or better yet, 2 for just $4 more. And that's a deal worth running out for.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
1 game to go in the first round. This one, but thus far the Big Ten is perfect. ACC advances 5 out of 6. Big East has lost a couple. And look down at the bottom. The SEC, 4 teams have lost first-round games. LSU trails here. And one of the things that has made it so much fun, look at the contrast in this year's first round compared to a year ago. In 1988, 27 higher-seeded teams won their first-round games. In this year, 12 lower-seeded teams have advanced.
Well, everybody kept talking about this season being one that anybody could win the championship with. And it sure looks that way as the lowest seeded teams are doing their job.
Again today, you got South Alabama, Texas winning here. Evansville won in overtime over Oregon State in a thrilling ball game. There's Blanton for 3. Blanton cuts the lead to 13 at 70-57.
LSU is kind of short of personnel is that they have 3 Proposition 48 people, and 2 of them are big guys. One is 7-footer.
Should be eligible next year. They start 1 freshman, 2 sophomore, 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores. There's Hardaway with some magic.
Yeah, he can make that ball dance too.
Hardaway with 25 points. Ricky Blanton might be playing his final game for the Tigers. Nice dive for the loose ball by Blanton, and Jackson picks it up. Off the pick. Nice soft shot. That's for 2. You said he reminded you of somebody, but not a basketball player.
He reminded me the first time I ever saw this kid play of Gordie Howe when I saw Gordie Howe for the first time. The great Detroit Red Wing left winger, I guess he was, where he would glide up the ice in his ice skates, carrying the puck, and it looked like it was so easily done until you looked at the guy that was trying to check him, who was scurrying as hard as he could and still couldn't keep up. That's what Jackson reminds me of.
Here's Jackson on Stewart. Hardaway lost it. LSU ball. And Hardaway right in front of us says, oh, bad call, bad call.
That doesn't say much, but it's poignant when he says it.
Don Haskins looks like he's worried, doesn't he?
Well, he no longer has to drive the bus like he did when he first started down there.
He started in the late 50s as a high school coach at Headley, Texas.
You know all about that.
Yep.
You saw him coach some of those high school teams.
I watched him coach the Headley Owls in Class B state tournament in Austin in the late 50s. Which says something about his age and mine. Oh, wow. Turnaround by Sims. He's got 8. Lead is 11. 4:54 to go. Not over yet. 19-point ball game in the first half, 40-21. LSU went on a run, which ultimately cut that lead to 7 with 6:40 to go in the ball game. And there's Hardaway with 2 more and a chance for a 3-pointer.
I'll tell you, that was one of the real dynamic shots of Tim Hardaway. He doesn't worry about people on the inside. You see him come free on the baseline. Now he's got a short defender on him, mishandles the ball a little bit, and still can get it over the top. He has great eyes to see if a defender's coming at him and really can change the arc of the shot.
Hardaway with 27 points. His season high was 32 against Colorado State. And in the just completed tournament, Western Athletic Conference, he scored 69 points. He has 28. is 14, 4:35 to go. UTEP seeded 7th, LSU seeded 10th. Blanton. It's been a tough night for him. Foul on Mouton. Let's bring you up to date on what happened in the Southeast region in Nashville. Oklahoma had to really struggle. And Louisiana Tech won over LaSalle, so those two teams will meet. Virginia will take on Middle Tennessee State, another of the upset winners, as they ousted Florida State with a 17-0 run of their own. Triple header action. That's tomorrow. It begins at 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific time zone here on CBS. Antonio Davis will shoot one more. Davis out of McClymonds High School, Oakland, California.
Last year he didn't get a chance to play in the tournament. He broke his ankle right during the WAC tournament. I guess it was the next to last game.
Right, against New Mexico, as a matter of fact. And this year he strained those knee ligaments against New Mexico. Jackson, it's in and out.
Oh, look at that Stewart get on the front end of the break. Oh, boy. That is a jet.
Lead is 18. Largest lead of the night was 19. Chris Jackson gets 2 more.
I've just seen some superlative guard play in this game by the 2 guards from UTEP, and Jackson, even though he had a cool hand in the first half, he's being defended by an excellent defensive player.
Timeout has been called with 3:45 to go. It's a UTEP timeout.
Express mail from your post office offers you 46,000 drop-off points.
We deliver, we deliver.
A guaranteed morning delivery.
We deliver, we deliver.
And an overnight price of just $8.75.
We deliver, we deliver.
Speed, convenience, price. It's a package only we can deliver. Express mail from your postal service.
We deliver for you. It's the right gear for winter fun. Silver blades, funky sails, and a downhill run. It's the cool way of getting around. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on into Coors Light. It's the right beer now. To the good life, yeah. Good life, yeah. So come on into Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
You've seen those Chevy versus Ford tests, right? We came up with one of our own. Half-ton 4x4s, best available tires, driven at the same identical speed right through this 18-inch deep ditch. Now, this is a real control test, so don't you try it, because you'll damage your truck. That's the Chevy with torsion bar suspension, and that's the Ford with twin traction beam suspension. And you can see why we've had to change a hardened pickup. That's today's Chevy truck.
In the Southeast region in Atlanta this afternoon, South Alabama in a thriller. Peanut butter and jelly in that backcourt. They came from behind and defeated Alabama by 2. They will take on Michigan. Michigan also had to come from behind. And then Iowa State fell to UCLA tonight. And Southern was knocked off by North Carolina. So what an attractive matchup that is. UCLA, North Carolina Sunday at 4:40 Eastern time.
Well, North Carolina has had its moments. There's no question about it. UCLA, well, I would give the edge to North Carolina. They've got power inside, but UCLA's got McLean.
You want to go after we've completed the first round. Now, see, I've been doing this to you all year. Pick a favorite, pick a favorite. Now we've got 32 teams left. You want to pick one?
Well, I'd still
going to go Georgetown?
Georgetown is, to me, is a big choice because of that defense. And Pete Carrill had the type of system that really could expose that defense. I don't think many of the other coaches can put that in place that quickly to affect Georgetown.
Well, that was one of the thrilling games today. 50-49. Georgetown came from behind and did win it. Antonio Davis misses. Foster with the rebound. And here's Burnell Singleton. They need a bunch in a hurry. And they're not going to get one this time down. So it would appear that the Southeast Conference is not going to have any teams remaining in play after the first round. They started with 5, 4 have lost thus far, and LSU is on the ropes. And the Western Athletic Conference, they got 2 in. Many in the WAC thought there should have been 3. They thought New Mexico should have been in. Now Dennis Tracy and Tim Hardaway get into it. That all started, Tommy, on a foul called over here right in front of us when they exchanged words.
You certainly don't want to get in a fist fight, but the new rules they put in place. And he kind of bumps into him and a little push, and Hardaway just getting him to turn around and face him. Now that's super foolish to get in a fight at this stage, because you get a warning. You could end up with another one getting suspended.
Looks like Tracy's been in one.
Yeah, Tracy has been, looks like he's been in a few. And he's the dive on the floor type, get down low and work hard on defense, but really haven't been able to do the job against Hardaway today this evening, because Hardaway's got too much quickness for him.
Hardaway with 29 points. Dale Brown's team, Final Four participants twice in the 80s. This is a team, though, that many picked for as low as 8th in the SEC because of the youth. Ricky Blanton, the only senior. They wound up finishing 4th. At one point, they were 18-6 and lost 5 of their last 7. That shot knocked away by Tim Hardaway. 3:09 to go. And the lead back at 19. That equals the largest lead of the night.
I'll tell you, Tim Hardaway is an exceptionally fine defensive guard, too. He doesn't get all the top assignments because he's so important to their offense. But I would say that Jimmy Hardaway could just about play anybody.
Prince Stewart, who's had a big night. Jackson reaches around, gets the steal. Lyle Mouton. Jackson rejected by Mark McCall. Jackson gets it back and cans it.
Concentration.
82-67, 2:35 to go.
LSU just does not have the size to play with this very active front line of UTEP.
How will UTEP fare against Indiana?
Well, you know, they're 2 very, very good defensive ball clubs. And Jay Edwards and a matchup with Tim Hardaway ought to be interesting.
Working some time off the clock. Foster on the line. It'll be LSU's ball.
And you know, Indiana doesn't really have the great big guys down inside that are super active, so Antonio Davis might be an impact player in that ball game.
82-67, 2:05 to go. Jackson will shoot a couple. Foul is on Prince Stewart. Texas, Tom Penders, Lance Blanks, Travis Mays, they lead the way, knocking off Georgia Tech. First time that Texas has been in the tournament since '79. They'll take on Missouri and Colorado State. What a job Boyd Grant has done up there in his 3rd year. They have come back from the dead. And they win a big one over Florida. So all that coming up Sunday here on CBS. Here's Foster, 1:52 to go. And here in Tucson, we will have Evansville against Seton Hall, the number 3 seed, and Indiana against UTEP. And the winners of those 2 games go on to Denver. 1:33 to go. Well, Ricky Blanton, the LSU senior, his final 127 in a Tiger uniform. Dennis Tracy draws the foul. And Francis Azenwa getting ready to come back in. So also is Lyle Mouton. This is a bunch of LSU kids, 18-6 at one point, and then they ran into some problems at the end of the year, losing 5 out of their last 7. Antonio Davis is taken out along with Johnny Melvin. Good game for him, Tom.
Antonio Davis came in and didn't start, of course, because of the injury, but really made his presence felt on the board. Particularly the defensive board, and they slipped the ball to him on the inside. Now, he could outleap anybody that LSU had on the inside, and he really did what you're supposed to do. Go over the top of a smaller player.
Hardaway misses the second. He and Jackson both with 31 points tonight. Here's Chris Jackson as we're near the 115 mark. Tipped it in. Vernell Singleton. And timeout is called by LSU. 83-69. We have 70 seconds left.
Customer service.
Say a customer calls about a shipment.
Okay, good example. We bring up a scanned image of the customer file. PO, order sheet, bill of lading, signature of the guy who received it. All paperwork's on the screen. Yes, it's shipped. Meanwhile, a database record comes up with all the billing information. Bing, 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 whatever's in the file. You do confirmation WP, fax a copy out to the guy. All the way, got him on the phone. 5 minutes. That's integrated imaging, completely integrated. That's the key. All right, another example, legal, litigation support. You put in Wang's integrated imaging system.
Yo, Holmes, yo, Holmes, yo, Holmes. Mars Blackman, chill of Air Jordan, who's been serving them hard jams all day with these thumping sneakers. Do you understand? These sneakers be housing across the country. Comprende? And every homeboy be bum rushing to get some. They're high, cabi? And I ain't frontin'. So if you're ill to land to buy some, you'll be a toy. Am I making myself clear? New Air Jordans from Nike are here.
To the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
When America wants to haul, tow, or just have big loads of fun, Chevy Astro's the van that can.
To the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
Big day here in Tucson in the West region. Evansville with an overtime win today.
Boy, was that a basketball game, and a very, very confident and spunky little guy. Reed Hefton hit that shot. Hafner really did a great job.
And in Boise, Arizona and Clemson advance, DePaul and UNLV. And you'll see them tomorrow from Boise. Arizona, of course, the #1 seed in the West. This is their home court. The last team to beat them here, as a matter of fact, was UTEP in the '87 tournament. And a collision down along the baseline. Vernell Singleton, the freshman for LSU.
You can look at Hardaway, spots his man, who really kind of went way past the basket, had to lean back, and that allowed Singleton to get back into the play. He had his man beaten by about 20 feet, but he didn't know where he was when he ended up with the ball. He should have stopped a little bit because the pass was right on the money. Those are the little things that players coming from another continent have to learn. And they are very pleased with him. They say he's only played 3 years of basketball, and he's got great foot movement and great hand movement. And you saw him block some shots this evening, or at least create some problems defensively. So he's going to be an effective player. They got big hopes for him.
Here's Jackson. 1 minute to go. Foul called on Prince Stewart. The UTEP bench. They will play another game Sunday afternoon here against Indiana. I rather imagine Bobby Knight would just as soon play Don Haskins as that man, Dale Brown. They have a well-documented dislike for each other.
I think Bobby and Haskins are good buddies.
Yes, they are.
Matter of fact.
As opposed to Brown and Knight.
Yep.
Greg Foster is out. Sam Knight back in. 3-point shot. Lyle Mouton. 55 seconds remaining in this ball game. It's 83-72 right now. We're going to go back to our New York studios. Here is Jim Nance.
Well, Vern, thank you, and a chance for us to, again, set the lineup that now really is just hours away as we get set for second-round action. Triple header Saturday coming your way, 12 noon Eastern, West Virginia against Duke to most of the nation. Then at 2 Eastern, some of you will see Ball State against Illinois. Others will watch Louisiana Tech against Oklahoma. Some will see Siena against Minnesota. At 4:30 Eastern Time, DePaul, UNLV headlines the action there. Arkansas and Louisville also play. Middle Tennessee State collides with Virginia. That's 4:30 Eastern. For those of you on the West Coast and in Arizona and South Carolina, you also get the game between Clemson and Arizona starting at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Let's go back for the finale now in Tucson. Back to Vern.
All right, Jim, 55 seconds to go. Chris Jackson, who missed hit only 2 of his first 11 shots, has connected on 13 of his last 20. So he winds up right about his season average. He's got 31 points for the night. And in the process becomes the all-time leading scorer for freshmen in NCAA history. He also, of course, is the first freshman, Wayman Tisdale of Oklahoma, to be named as an All-American first-teamer. He's named 3 first teams so far.
I would say that he has got a great, bright future. Red Auerbach thinks that if he came out this year, he would be the first guy picked in the draft, at least by the Boston Celtics, if they were to have the first pick in the draft. That's how highly he thinks of it. But Jackson is really going to even continue to grow. He's a very, very intelligent player and understanding what the possibilities are. And he uses this great athletic ability he has to outquick somebody, but it's taken hours and hours and hours to get that dribbling to the point where he uses it so effectively.
11-point UTEP lead. Prince Stewart, who's had a dandy night for the most part, gets rid of it, and Tim Hardaway has the ball. Back to Stewart. Shot clock at 30, game clock at 37. Hardaway and Jackson. And the foul is on Chris Jackson. UTEP, the second of the Western Athletic Conference teams to advance. And it's been fun for both of us to sit back the last 2 days and watch the Sienas and the South Alabamas and the Texases, hasn't it?
You know, that makes all those programs feel that they've got some place to go in the next several years. You know, for a school like Siena to get past the first round, that's awfully important for their whole program for the next 5 years.
Not to say for their bank account.
Well, forget that. I really, talking about the coaching and the kids in the school, and Holy Cross won it way back in the 40s, and the whole town of Worcester turned out, something that never happened before.
Jackson's final shot doesn't fall. Askins and Brown meet at midcourt. Chris Jackson hits for 33, but Tim Hardaway leads UTEP with 31, and the Miners knock off LSU by 11. Let's go back to Jim Nance in New York.
Vern, thank you. So now Indiana and UTEP are set to play on Sunday. And really the Bear, Don Haskins and Bobby Knight, are big friends. In fact, they have met 4 times in the 80s, with Indiana winning on 3 of those occasions. In fact, they already met once this year in Bloomington, and Indiana won that game 81-63 over the Miners, but now they'll meet in the tournament second round. And James, before this game tonight, you were talking about Hardaway. You said this guy's a big-time player. You hit that right on the money.
Quickness, and NBA scouts love him, and I tell you, it's going to be a lot closer game this time between UTEP and Indiana. And talking about the game MVPs, well, indeed, it was a great individual matchup between Chris Jackson and Tim Hardaway. Chris Jackson, the MVP for LSU, with a game-high 33 points. Tim Hardaway with 31 points, but of course, Tim Hardaway had a better supporting cast. And we'll be back with more post-game interviews out in Tucson, Arizona, after these commercial messages.
AT&T called this morning. They wanted to know why we switched to MCI. So I told them MCI showed me how with Prism Plus we could consolidate all our watts lines on our regular business lines. Something they never did for me. Of course, then they claimed they could do the same thing. And I said, then why didn't you tell me that a year ago? End of phone call.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be. MCI. Let us show you.
We're back with another test of Chevy versus Ford. And this one you can do at home. Just load both trucks with eggs and lower something heavy down on them. You'll see that Chevy has these notches that let you do double-deck loading. You'll see that Ford doesn't have any notches. That's why we've had a change of heart about pickups. With Ford, you can bring home the bacon. With Chevy, you can bring home the bacon and the eggs.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
Land sailing on the dry lakes of Black Rock, Nevada, and the great taste of old Milwaukee beer.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in old Milwaukee beer.
It doesn't get any better than this.
How fast does Dristan nasal spray start to work?
Faster than Dolly can pick up a $5 tip.
Dristan works fast to relieve nasal congestion, even sinus pressure. For relief,
faster than a fan on a hot day.
Try Dristan nasal spray. It's faster than...
To us at UPS, this is a custom car. Why, this beauty's been modified dozens of times. It has a fiberglass fuel-efficient front, a rapid-opening foam-filled door, and a sunroof, all of which makes us more efficient, so we can deliver next-day air for up to half what other companies charge, and allow our drivers to be seen in one mean set of wheels. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Odious, contemptible, deplorable. I'm speaking of offending in the personal grooming arena. Something I would, of course, consider quite beyond the pale. So I give you Right Guard Sport Stick, antiperspirant and deodorant. When one needs to seek maximum protection and a fresh scent, one should grab oneself one of these Right Guard Sport Sticks, because one would hate to be considered malodorous by one's chums. Now, wouldn't one? Right Guard Sport Sticks from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official corporate sponsor of the NCAA. UPS, for guaranteed overnight delivery from coast to coast. UPS runs the tightest ship in the shipping business. And by Coors Light, there's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet, the best light beer for a good long time.
We're back at the University of Arizona gym on the campus of U of A. LSU loses to the UTEP Miners tonight. Don Haskins. It's unusual, I think, Don. You look at Chris Jackson, 33 points, and yet in my mind, Prince Stewart did a heck of a job on him tonight.
I thought he did a mighty fine job. In the first half, Prince got a little help, and I thought the rest of our team was jumping out and trying to help him like we'd practiced. In the second half, he took the ball to the outside where we couldn't get anyone to help, and just wore us out. The guy's really a good player. But I thought my guy did a very, very good job. I was pleased.
Well, one of the guys who was helping him, not just a little, was Tim Hardaway, who's over here with Tom. Tim?
Well, Tim, I promise you that you'll be able to say something right away before I ask you a question.
Yeah, happy birthday, Yvette, my cousin.
Okay, that's for cousins. I want to tell you, you're playing like everybody on that ball club was your cousin tonight. You did a great job offensively. What was this a real challenge to you to show what you could do against a guy who's made All-American as a freshman?
Yeah, I just wanted to come out here and play, the way I know how to play, show everybody around the country. I'm a good point guard, too, and just distribute the ball to my teammates as much as I can and when they open, and just try to control the tempo.
Well, you played the situations beautifully.
Thanks.
All right, Tim, Don, congratulations to you both. Good luck against Indiana on Sunday. We'll see you then. Right now, we're going back to our New York studios. Here's Jim Nantz.
Vern and Tommy, thank you. So that win by UTEP means the Western Athletic Conference 2-0. Colorado State and the UTEP Miners advancing on to the second round, while the SEC 0-5. It's the worst showing ever in NCAA tournament history by one conference. All 5 Southeastern Conference teams eliminated in the first round. That's the first time that's ever happened before in tournament play. All right, the rest of the games in the tournament you'll be seeing here on CBS Sports. Let's set the lineup for second-round action later today. Triple header Saturday. West Virginia, a team that had a 22-game win streak at one point during the year. The Atlantic 10 regular season champions will go against Duke, 12 noon Eastern. Most of the country will see that. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, many of you will see Ball State. The Cardinals, Coach Rick Majerus, have the best record in Division I, going against the top seed, Illinois. And also Louisiana Tech with a big-time player, Randy White, going against the Oklahoma Sooners, who have been dragging their feet lately. Will the Sooners rebound tomorrow? We'll have to see against Louisiana Tech. And the Siena Saints against Minnesota in East Region action. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern time. At 4:30 Eastern, some of you will see Arkansas against Louisville, DePaul and UNLV, and Middle Tennessee State against Virginia. Then again, let's remind those of you on the West Coast, this is your triple header game. And for the folks in Arizona and South Carolina, you get a bonus game. Clemson against Arizona. That's 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific time here on CBS. So a busy Saturday and Sunday coming your way. We'll continue, take a look back at the first round action from this Friday as we continue on the road to the Final Four after this message from your local stations.
Oh, it's thrilling. It stimulates the senses. This is what it's all about.
And I think it's a lot of fun.
March Madness on CBS Sports.